evening, Anthony.
G'day, Dave. We're
How are
live.
you, buddy? How are you?
What do you got? What do you got on the screen then? What was that on the screen?
That was just a little sneak peek at tonight's guest.
Ah, a special guest tonight, hey?
We're very fortunate and privileged to have a
Absolutely.
wonderful, highly experienced, qualified guest tonight to talk to us about something that we probably all have some experience with in the CrossFit space, hey?
Think
I
so.
know you do. You're right into it.
I'm absolutely into it. You're not so much, but maybe you'll be convinced tonight. Maybe you'll be convinced to take some things.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping JR can tell me all about it and maybe change my mind a little bit on some of these things.
Awesome.
How's your week been? Your fortnight since our last break.
Good. We just did an awesome workout. That was a good workout. Not too intense on the heart rate side of things, which was nice to do. So some bench press and it was like a bros workout, wasn't it? Really, that's what it was. So
I think some of JR's products would have helped tonight.
Yeah, I think so. In that last round of bench press, that was hard. That last round of bench press.
It was a high power output. I think when we talk about energy systems, I think this is probably where some of these pharmaceuticals, for want of a better word, hang on, clarify that, legal pharmaceuticals, can enhance your performance. But yeah, we'll find out more. CrossFit news, the games, not too far away.
20 events, can't wait. It's looking exciting. It's going to be swimming, I hear. There's going to be riding, I hear.
Swimming's definitely back. I think that's from Dave Castro himself.
And riding a bike of some description.
I didn't see riding was
so I don't know but I think it might be a road bike. So it might be something that they have to do in a longer form.
Yep, little skinny little wheels. Can you imagine if they have those little narrow handlebars? They're like the road racer, but where they're like this, not the standard mountain bike handlebars.
It's not going to be good for the bigger athletes, is it?
No, I wonder how many people have actually ever ridden one of those little bikes with the horseshoe handlebars, that roll under like house horns.
The road bikes.
Yeah. But they're only about this wide. Have you ever ridden one of those?
Yeah, at some stage. So Tour de France is coming up, so that'll be that's the type of bike they might be on. Who knows? Let's see.
What else have we had? I'm going to show you the new shirt merch.
Oh yes, we had our inaugural Neuro Enduro.
So if you want one of the
which was our kind of, what was that? Really our toe in the.
It was a CrossFit high rock. It was a running CrossFit. 8 rounds of running and CrossFit, but we won't use the H word.
Yeah, there was a lot of running, and I really think it was more than 300 meters that track was. I'd like to go and measure that because
our own version of high rocks, and it went off with an absolute blast. And that's another thing to thank our upcoming guest for, is helping to sponsor that day, which is fantastic. Well.
And I got some mobility powder, which will help with my joints and aches. So it's one of the things I got. So be able to talk to him about that one. Yeah. All right, let's bring him on, hey?
Yeah. Okay, mate. Enough banter from us. Let's bring on the guest, Mr. JR.
Hey guys, how's it going?
JR. The surname again? Hastings. Ison Hastings. JR Ison Hastings.
It does sound a bit posh, JR. It sounds a bit.
No, that's why I don't use my full name. It just doesn't match me and my personality.
But you can use it in certain circles, I imagine. So open certain doors. So
yeah. So my full name is Robin Junior Hastings Ison. And virtually, when I was in the science industry, I would go by Robin. But in the fitness industry, I'll go by JR. It's much cooler and it's easier to remember.
So who are you, JR? Why have we got you on the show?
Oh, I don't know. You just got this random guy that you met at Torian.
You had your stand was there, and there was so many people sort of loitering around you.
Yeah.
Having little freebies of your products.
Yeah.
And Anthony and I wandered past, and then got to chatting.
Yeah.
And so I found the little conversation that we had with you at the games at the Torian really interesting, and your background is really interesting. And this is your company, Ascend Performance Supplements.
Yes, it is my baby. Yes.
Yeah. When did you get into this industry? What's the sort of background to starting up a supplement company?
Yeah. So my background, when I was younger, so I'm 34 now, but about when I was 18, I got into the fitness industry, but I was competing powerlifting from a young age. And then also did actually a little bit of bodybuilding, did a little bit of just endurance as well. But then I ended up working in like a health food store. And this health food store down in Springwood, so here in Brisbane, basically one of the big major supplement brands in all of Australia. I'm not going to say their name, but they started out of that store. And I would say that the two owners, they were husband and wife. I'd say Jeff and Tony. Well, Jeff was my mentor, and I've I've always been friends with him since 18. He obviously started that brand. They built it from a very small brand to probably an evaluated brand of $30 million just out of here, Logan. And I was very lucky to watch him build that because for some reason I always used to say that I was like their adopted child. And yeah, they just took me for the ride, and just unfortunately they're not that company anymore. And that's what allowed us to sort of start Ascend probably 3.5 years ago, going on to 4 years soon.
That's pretty young in terms of businesses, 3.5 years old.
Yeah, so we are very, very young still.
Are you worth 30 million now as well, or?
Oh, definitely not. So one of the big things that I watched when they built that was it was formulas over profit. That was the big thing. And so it was all about innovation. It was all about the science behind products. And with Ascend, that's exactly the DNA of our company. Because I feel like, especially in the supplement industry, it is a very marketing industry. There's not many subject matter experts in this industry. There's not many regulations in this industry. So, I've kind of taken it upon myself and my business partners at the same time. It's our mission just to bring out really cool formulas. We want to stick by that integrity side. We want to stick by the quality side. So actually, to go a little bit back, virtually, so from the health food store, they obviously sold that health food store. I ended up staying on there, but I went and studied. So then I went and did my degree. So I did a Bachelor of Science. I did biology, but then I also took human cell and molecular biology. I was like obsessed for some reason with cells. Don't know why, but it just was something that was just so interesting to me. And like just genetics at the same time too. Then when I graduated, I went actually into the science industry. So I actually went into the capital equipment industry. So like sort of supplying all your universities, hospitals, like anything to do with science and research, like all the equipment in there. And then probably about 6 months into that, I ended up bumping into, Jeff at a petrol station, which was so random. And then he literally just asked me what I was doing. I told him, this what I was doing in the science industry. And he goes, have you graduated? I said, yeah. And then virtually on the Monday, he called me up and he's like, I got a contract for you. Can you come work for us? And that was kind of like that jumped into that role, which was a very hybrid role as well, which was kind of cool. And I always appreciate, Jeff for this because it basically, I worked in sales, I worked in marketing, and then also worked in research and development. So I virtually learnt the whole business. And I did that for probably 2-3 years. And then a couple of things happened, and like, all good things have to come to an end. And I ended up going back into the science industry. But I think that was a part of my journey, especially my stepping stone, because when I went back into the science industry, I ended up working in sort of like third-party analytical testing laboratories. So like actually we used to test anything from food and beverage to supplements to, wastewater to your milk that goes out into Woolworths and Coles. And I built a very good network, especially of raw material suppliers, just everything to do with science. And I built a massive network over that 3 to 5 years. And then kind of had to step back after COVID and just thought to myself what I really wanted to do, because it gave me some thinking time. And then I was like, well, I honestly loved manufacturing. I love, commercializing products and doing the research and development and just building something, educating. And then, me and my business partners, we all started this company 3.5 years ago. My business partner, Dale, she is amazing. She would never come on a podcast because she is the typical research and development scientist you would see. She's got her glasses, but she's a massive CrossFitter. She's been doing CrossFit a bit older than me. She's 39, 40.
Shout out to Dale. I hope is Dale watching right now. Does she know me on?
Yeah. But I'm very lucky to have her, especially as my business partner in here, because she was actually the research and development scientist as well for the company that we come from. The intellectual property that she has in her head, the chemistry that she knows behind products, flavoring products, like it's a whole different art. And this is when I come back to when I was saying in regards to the supplement industry, there's a lot of people that have a brand. There's not many people that can commercialize a supplement, doing something from start to finish. And with Ascend,
you see you guys as pretty unique in that sense. Is Ascend a little bit unique compared to other players in the field, like with your background, would you say?
Yeah, the fact that the two, there's 3 of us, but the 2 owners, 2 of them, we're both research and development scientists. That's pretty unheard of in this industry as well. Most of the companies that are out there are a bit, more your marketing type of companies. None of them manufacture. They have, it's almost cookie cutter formulas that just mimic the same product but with a different label. And I guess this is where the DNA of our company is that we manufacture everything. So even when we started the company, we went straight into manufacturing. And, we had to start from humble beginnings where we had this little 50-liter blender, which is, going back 3.5 years ago. This little 50-liter blender that probably could hold about 30 kilos of powder. Wow. And we used to just be in that facility 12, 14 hours a day, just blend up the weighing, sieving. It's actually hilarious to think that, just the products that we were pumping out back then in this little blender, in this little facility.
Doing some research for the show, I asked Google, is there any supplement powder manufacturing in Queensland, in Australia? And its answer was no. All of that stuff, especially creatine, is either manufactured in China or Germany.
Yes. Materials.
Are you guys actually making the creatine from scratch or
No, we will be virtually so we will have raw material suppliers and we will get all them, whether we use a lot of patented ingredients, so we do get stuff from all around the world. We just do all the commercialization of the blending and everything.
Okay, so you're still importing the creatine. Is that being imported from China or Germany, or where are your main creatine suppliers, the raw creatine?
So what people have to actually start to understand is that, there's this big emphasis, it comes from China, it must be bad. But your clothes come from China. Yeah, there's things that come
Yeah,
from
this
China.
microphone comes from China. This TV, this monitor comes from China.
Your
It's pretty good.
iPhone. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you can have good China and it's bad China, and that's where, actually going back to when I worked in Symbio Laboratories, being that third-party analytical testing, I got a lot of raw material suppliers from that job because they used to use our lab to test their raw materials. So then it allowed me, when we started the business, to know, okay, what distributors of raw materials are actually doing the right thing. Because there's one thing to, you know, get the certificate of analysis, but there's also one thing to go one step further to actually test it again. So it's even like, let's just call it our creatine. We went through about 6 different raw material suppliers until we found the creatine that we're using now. It's probably 99% creatine. Like, you know, there's always
so what are you testing? What are you testing for, JR, to be able to find good creatine versus bad creatine?
Purity. So you'd be testing purity. So making sure the first test is that you're going to have a control sample. They'll run them on the HPLCs or GCMS, which is like gas chromatographer spectrophotometer, those big machines that they have in the labs, and they'll run that. They'll obviously check like the control sample and then your sample, and they can actually work out the purity of the end product from there. So
what are some of the impurities that come in from the dodgy raw material suppliers? What are they laced it with? Like,
just be more your heavy metals and things like that.
Really? So it just somehow gets into the industrial process.
So is that on purpose? Is that on purpose that those impurities are added to just like be fillers, or is it
just be the manufacturing process? So if we just go to creatine, for instance, so creatine will always come from an industrial process. It's never coming from a biological. You know, if we talk about collagen, we talk about whey proteins, is coming from a biological, and then, you know, we synthesize that down, it goes through filtrations, and then that's when it becomes a commercial product. Creatine comes from an industrial process, so it has to come, like, it's not coming from biologicals. So then it has to go through, you know, the synthesizing of it and the wash down of it, and it has to go through different chemical processes to bring all the solvents in to actually have the end product. And I guess it just depends on that manufacturing process, how that goes. And, you know, if they're not doing it right and they're taking, like, you know, they're cutting corners, then obviously the creatine is not going to come out as pure as what it needs to be. You know, you want creatine to be above 99%. And I guess, like, there's obviously Creapure, that's over in Germany, that's Alzchem, but they're like a massive, you know, chemical company. They're the only ones that sort of, you know, manufacture outside of China. But like I'm saying, like, China is still good because China is probably the only place where you can make it commercial viable for all these amino acids to be synthesized and actually produced out. There's one raw material supplier that actually, like, where they create it, they, like, I know the lady who distributes them over here, I think they do like $10 billion just to the States. But this manufacturing plant supposedly takes 10 minutes in a car to drive from one side to the other side. And that's where majority of your raw materials will come out of. There's obviously going to be more than that, but so you know that what's coming out of this place is going to be proper quality, because you're not going to be, you know, selling $10 billion worth of raw materials. And if your processes and everything aren't actually up to scratch.
So is there continual testing of that, JR? So even though, like, you find like a good commercial supplier of creatine, do you continually test them to make sure that they're staying at that level?
So we'll do third-party testing. So we use Symbio, which I'm lucky I've got the contacts for that. But yeah, we do third-party testing on stuff, especially like your creatines and things like that. Your painted ingredients, you kind of don't have to, because you got to think they've gone through a lot. Like, you're paying a premium for a painted ingredient because of their processes that they're doing.
So what's an example of a patented ingredient? Like, what's a good example of something?
Gelita will have 10 to 4 and Fortigel that we use in a lot of our products. 10 to 40 is like a active collagen peptide. Fortigel's the same. One works on tendons and ligaments, and the other one works on bones and joints. But they basically, what they did was they synthesized the collagen amino acid, and then they saw that different peptide chains actually activated different areas of the body. They got that peptide chain and basically mass produced it, and then they patented that process of it. So then the fact that they've done that, because they've got like almost a whole university over in Germany dedicated to these products. That they're from the start to finish, that they're doing exactly everything they need, because that's why their whole company is built around that.
Right.
We've got that from Germany. We've got Peptinex, which comes from France. Lab4 probiotics come from the UK. There's a lot of.
So those products have already been through their quality control, and you're happy that quality control is high. So when you blend those products into your products, you don't need to test those things.
Yeah, and it anyway. When you open up the raw material, it is a fine powder. You get quality as well. You can tell the difference between say for instance, in our early days, and come back to creatine here, we had this one supplier of creatine. God, it was so cheap to buy, but we just got a sample of it, and then we got another one, and you could just tell the complete difference between the two.
One's like the rogue chalk bucket.
Oh yeah, it literally was like that. Yeah, it was like the chalk bucket. So
just for our listeners, say, I know Anthony thought this as well. He thought that creatine was sort of dehydrated steak or something like that, and converted into the powders. But it's not really like none of it. Although creatine is an organic molecule, and our body makes creatine, for our muscle. The commercial side of it is very much more like Breaking Bad. It's an industrial chemistry project, and so there's raw materials that go into the process. And like the show Breaking Bad, he was looking for purity, right? I remember some of the scenes. This is 90%, and it would be like this blue crystal, and everyone's like, "Whoa, this is good stuff." Did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And so the impurities just come in from factories that don't have a good industrial chemistry manufacturing process, and then you just get the impurities in, and then they just sell it off, and we're just having shit creatine.
So what happens if you have shit creatine? What does it just not work? Is that the impact, or is there other things that people should be considerable?
It's just going to have the heavy metals in it, and because it will have high creatinine levels, which obviously that's the waste product of our kidneys, and you don't want it to be having more creatinine, putting your kidneys under more stress than what they need to be. That's probably why you want to have quality creatine, so that there's no conversion of creatinine in the kidneys.
And is there bad creatine out in the Australian market? So for people who are taking creatine, because I know you can go to Aldi and get not really very cheap creatine. So I imagine that's not some of the good stuff. But is that what we're experiencing in the Australian industry as well, or is there more control around it?
No, there's no control around it, to be honest. And I think that's why in this space, in the supplement space, it's about trusting a reputable brand. Even the own a brand, there are multiple brands that I would say, I would use their products, because I know that they follow the same DNA as what we follow, where it's, they start the process from start to finish. They do all their testing. They're built on integrity. So,
Isn't one of the raw materials for creatine manufactured like a cyanide or something like that? Some sort of cyanide hydrochloride or something? And cyanide, to anyone, cyanide sounds pretty bad. But obviously in the process it gets converted to something, cyanamide, I think, cyanamide.
I think
which is not possible.
Yeah.
So you'd certainly want them knowing what they're doing. You said about the regulation. Why is it so unregulated? Why is the government not regulating the quality of these products?
It's too hard and too big, I think. Too many brands. It's $1 trillion industry, the supplement industry. So it's kind of like, it's very hard for them to regulate. There's obviously the TGA, the Therapeutics Good Administration.
These products, these aren't really considered therapeutic goods and drugs, are they? They fall more under food,
they fall under the FSANZ, so Food Standards Australia, New Zealand.
Which is a lot less strict than TGA, therapeutic goods and drugs.
Yeah, so that's why, like anything in a powder or anything, it's more seen as like a food. That's why you see like a lot of products trying to push the limit with a powder. Or if they're going into gummies, they're going into RTDs because, like, it's seen as food.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting world.
So let's just say we have good quality stuff. We have good quality stuff. Let's scroll through your Instagram here. I might just play this little bit here. Let's play this one. A little bit of Hicor.
Yeah. Is there volume on this one? Right.
Is there volume? Where's the volume? Doesn't look like we're getting volume there. But let's say that we've got good stuff. What is the biological sort of? Let's just stick with creatine, I suppose. Would that be the most popular supplement that you sell, creatine?
Well, like it's the most popular product in this industry because of just how much education's going out behind it, and because it had that big roar on TikTok back in the day. Obviously, there's 1,000 different other products other than creatine that are going to help your performance, but it just seems to be the one that everyone knows right now. And I think big thing with creatine, the reason why is because I think a lot of your older generation are starting to use it even if they don't go to gym, because they're starting to they're starting to see the benefits of the muscle wastage. It helps with their strength, bone density, thyroid health. Like the list just keeps going on and on and on with creatine. So that's why I think it's it is the number one most researched product in the world, like in the supplement industry. But there is a lot in this industry.
So what is the basis? Like as a molecular biochemist, what is the sort of fundamental mechanisms by which it's going to either help athletes? Let's stick with athletes, CrossFitters. What does it have to offer, say, me or Anthony or Bailey Martin?
Are we still talking about creatine, or we're talking about
we'll stick with creatine for the moment. That's the most commonly purchased product.
Yeah. So just going back to what I said. So one of the big things that they're starting to see is obviously the research behind the brain health for creatine, because it's saying it helps with the conversion of, I'm not even going to say the word because it's going to say guanidinic acid, something like that. GAA for short. That's going to be wrong, but they're saying that obviously the creatine helps with the conversion of that, which is shown to actually help with depression, help with your brain health. I think there's
these are non-performance type benefits as well. Almost like neurodegenerative conditions.
Longevity on it, because obviously, if you think of
it helps with dementia as well. It helps with dementia. They've shown
and Alzheimer's. So, and I think the reason why they're seeing that is because you think of your brain, it's a big mushy organ that has a lot of water around. But like, what does creatine do? It forces more water into a muscle. Our brain's a muscle, so GAA, like the conversion of creatine to GAA, that's forcing more water into the brain. So, could be potentially just hydrating the brain a lot more. Is it just as we age that we start to lose a lot of water in our brain? You probably know this, Dave.
Well, that's why. So it's a mechanism by which we enhance the cell's ability to use energy and create energy. I mean, creatine is part of that phosphagen energy system. And the ATP, adenosine triphosphate, and that's kind of like the currency of how our cells do things is phosphate, and phosphocreatine is this like very rapid energy source. And so how I see it is if neurodegenerative conditions are occurring as a result of the neurons in the brain having less efficient or less supply of energy, then they're kind of trying to do their job, but as a consequence of that low energy, there's lots of byproducts which are kind of cytotoxic. And when you provide them with adequate energy, then it just works better. And so you don't get spin-off cytotoxic products which result in inflammation. So that's really interesting. That it's not even a product that is purely restricted to sports and performance. It's almost like becoming a therapeutic agent, but obviously a crap ton more research needs to be done. But
I think going back to that, it's like, I think for any person, longevity, I think creatine, they're starting to realize obviously creatine is important for longevity. And then if we actually go back to exactly what you were just saying in regards to athletes, is like creatine phosphates, that first form of energy, that your body uses like when it's contracting a muscle. So like you want more creatine. So then, because those creatine stores diminish while you're training, so you want to have a higher store of creatine in that muscle, so you're able to perform a lot better. So then one actually a very common question I get, especially when I do a seminar, and it's so interesting because it's like there's so much information out on creatine that I think people get really confused. They always say, when's the best time to take creatine? Well, take it before your workout. Why would I take it before my workout? Because you want those creatine stores to be higher as you're exploding. When you were doing anaerobic exercise, or even aerobic but more anaerobic, you want that explosion of energy in that muscle cell. You want that strength and performance. And then you want to saturate the muscle cell anyway with creatine. So that's when you want to have one later on in the day, and that's more your recovery creatine. So then all of a sudden they can have their creatine before a workout, which is in their routine, that they have a protein shake or something, even their juice or something with lunch or whatever it is, have another serve of it. And if they can just have, start loading up on that creatine, they're going to switch a lot of benefits from it at the same time too. And I feel like that's so common with athletes, is just they don't realize creatine timing is very important.
One of the things I couldn't understand, Jay, maybe you can help me understand it, is because we're talking about the phosphate creatine energy systems and the ATP anaerobic versus aerobic energy systems. Like when we do a CrossFit workout, we're kind of like at least 5, 10, 15 minutes. And obviously there's thousands of sports where you're going over an hour, marathon, running, 5K, 10K, whatever, any other sport like tennis. How does it, because it's kind of, it's helping that really high explosive 10 to 30 second energy system, the inorganic phosphate and that phosphagen energy system, which is not something that's going to, I don't see how it translates to working out for half an hour. So how's it helping us in that scenario?
Well, I don't think that's a funny thing that I see with endurance athletes as well. So like, I don't think creatine is actually going to help that much, because like what you said, it diminishes every 20 seconds, and then it starts going back up, and then diminishes again, and it starts going back up. So I think for anaerobic, like it's going to be a lot better. I don't think like it probably is there's going to be some study out there that shows that it helps with endurance, but is that just to do with having more creatines in the store, like in the muscles? Like, is that what it's going to relate to? Like, is it going to be because you've got more water in the muscle as well that it's going to help you with your aerobic threshold? But I think in that space though, a lot of people start to forget that once you go over that 3-minute threshold from any transition from anaerobic to aerobic, your body utilizes all your carbohydrates, glucose, during that time in anaerobic. Then it starts converting to aerobic, which is lipolysis, which is obviously all your fat. What does every athlete do? They load up on carbohydrates.
Carb load, yeah.
They never load up on fats. So like one of the missions with Ascend, and like I'm just gonna, because this is gonna be a full sort of round circle here, is that we formulate to deficiencies. You know, what people don't actually think about. So like this little guy here, I think it's like the most powerful product we have. But you know, it's 2 forms of fat in there: MCT oil, so medium chain triglycerides, and then grapeseed oil, omega-3s and 6s in there. People take this and like when they go for a run, they're like, oh geez, I could push a lot harder in that run. That thing's amazing. It's like, it's not actually rocket science. It's actually, you probably didn't load up on fats. You loaded up on fats with this guy. All of a sudden you have more fats in your system.
That's what I keep saying to the athletes, to people that I talk to who want to know about energy, is that it's actually much more efficient to become better at burning fat than burning carbohydrate. You can go all day. You can absolutely go all day. People have paddled dinghies across the Pacific with just fat.
You
didn't hear about that guy? All he had on board was the meat and fat, not a single molecule of carbohydrate. And he paddled from San Francisco to Hawaii on that alone, and he did it in some record time. Because he's basically converted his energy systems to being so efficient at burning triglycerides, and it's very clean energy. So maybe it's got that hydrating effect, because I know that when you take creatine, you get increased volume of muscle, don't you? Your muscles look bigger when you take a lot of creatine. You look a bit more swollen.
Because what creatine, like what intracellular. So this is actually another common question you always get on creatine is, will creatine bloat me? No, it's not going to bloat you, because bloating is extracellular fluid, that sits outside the cell. Creatine's intracellular. It goes inside the cell. So you're going to get bigger, but that's because it's increasing more volume in your muscle mass at the same time. It actually grows your muscle fiber. So it forces way more into the muscle. So obviously it's going to be a lot more hydrated at the same time too.
And I think that's a healthy thing for muscles in recovery as well. Having the sarcoplasm, that's the cytoplasm of the muscle cell, being full of water, is a way to dilute the cytotoxins, which cause the DOMS and all that kind of stuff, and it allows your muscle to recover quicker. So maybe it's not a direct performance enhancing effect, but it's more of a recovery and less inflammation. So then the next day when you train, you're ready to go hard again, versus someone who's not doing this is kind of like, oh, I'm still a bit sore and niggly when I'm going to train. So that kind of becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that you're just constantly training better and more efficiently, so your performance is better.
My question actually to do with creatine as well is actually dosing too. Obviously, like a lot of people would take very high doses of creatine, but like with anything, homeostasis, anything too much of a good thing can also be a negative thing for the body. So what
do you recommend then? Do you have instructions on the packet?
So the research shows that for women, 3 grams for general health is really good, but for saturating muscle cells and for the strength, the performance aspect is 6 grams. For males, for general health, 5 grams, and then for that performance aspect is around 10 grams. There's even all the research people talk about the loading phase, but the loading phase
is that per dose, JR? Sorry, is that per dose? Like if you're doing it 2 times a day,
throughout the 5 grams of 5 grams at one dose, 5 grams at another, so 10 grams altogether. I think people are going up to that 20 grams because they're trying to say, that's what's helping with the Alzheimer's and things like that. But it's still due course, there has to be way more research. Can't just be one journal article and, everyone thinks, oh, that's it. Like, as you would know, Dave, it's like science is about having lots of literature.
Got to keep asking questions, keep testing your, almost like tell yourself you're wrong and test yourself until you prove that you're not wrong.
Yeah,
That's called
100%.
that's the null hypothesis, right? The null hypothesis.
Yeah,
I have a theory, but I want to basically prove that I'm wrong. I'm going to keep trying to prove that I'm wrong until I can't prove that I'm wrong. So therefore, I'm right.
Yes, 100%.
That's good science, right? Rather than say I want to show that I'm right and try to prove that I'm right. No, it's the exact opposite. I want to try to prove that I'm wrong and be unable to prove that I'm wrong, and therefore I'm right.
Yes, 100%. And I think,
so tell me about that other product that you just showed. Tell us all about that other product.
VO2 Max. Yeah, just very simple. It was a product that we wanted to launch the whole business around like 3.5 years ago when we even started the company. I think it was just very niche. It was very innovative. CrossFit, like a lot of what I saw, like a lot of my mates in CrossFit, like they don't take too many pre-workouts. They always take maybe like a cup of coffee or something like that because you don't want to have 500 milligrams of coffee before, 500 milligrams of caffeine before a big WOD, probably have a heart attack. So like, a lot of people would just rely on electrolytes and even a coffee. Where I was like, okay, well, how do I make that coffee into a performance coffee? Like, what are they missing to help with their actual, strength and endurance? Well, the main thing is fats. So that's why we have the 2 fats in there. Then the next thing was actually their respiratory system. So, no one ever thinks about actually opening up their lungs. What happens when you can increase more air in the lungs, you increase more oxygen in the bloodstream, and you're going to be able to have a bigger power output. So that's where your peppermint oil actually comes into play. There's a very cool study on peppermint oil, and there's not too many studies on it, but I'd love to actually take it one step further and do these studies in the future when I've actually got some time. But they study with peppermint oil that it increased grip strength by 36%, and then it also increased vertical jump by 7%, which is very interesting.
Peppermint oil.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's another one.
What's the chemical in peppermint oil that's helping with that?
I think it's just because it's opened up all your airways. So just your breathing's a lot better, so every breath that you take, there's going to be more oxygen in that bloodstream coming through.
I wonder what receptor, some sort of beta 2 agonist or something like that.
That's what I want to find out one day, just to see what's actually going on at the cellular level.
So you've got a product for coffee, have you, with peppermint oil and medium chain?
It's not even for coffee, to be honest. It just actually you can still just take it as a standalone non-stimulant pre-workout.
Right.
Hello, you there? Oh no, where's he going?
JR's frozen on us.
He's frozen.
He's back.
Is he coming back?
We'll wait for JR to come back.
Man, this is fascinating. I'm so interested in this conversation.
Anthony, what are the supplements that what are you taking from JR?
I just have protein.
Is yours the Aldi protein?
I get the Pico protein.
The Pico protein.
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been taking? How long have you been
on it? Since just before Torium.
Oh, okay. So not forever and ever.
No, yeah. So, but I've noticed that a lot of my aches and pains have gone. So, you back, JR?
There he is.
Yeah,
he's back.
Dropped out. I don't know what happened there. Just dropped out here. It's what happens in Logan. I live there too, JR. So I know. Yeah, exactly. yeah. But the alpha GPC that helps with dopamine, but it's just really good for focus. That's a good focus product and nootropic. And then you've also got acetyl-L-carnitine in there as well, just with helping.
So how do you take it? Is it just a squeeze into your mouth? What is? Because it's very small, isn't it?
Because it is a dropper, and it's just 1.5 mils, just straight down the hatch in your mouth, and then probably take it about 10-15 minutes before your workout. Peppermint oil has probably a half-life of about 40-45 minutes, so it gets you through most of your workout anyway. And it's just a good alternative to your normal pre-workout.
I need some for that 25 wall balls tomorrow at 30 pounds, Dave. I think that's going to be
yeah.
I think that's a perfect thing.
Yeah,
I'll be coming over to Meadowbrook at lunchtime tomorrow.
If you can do 25 unbroken 30-pound ball balls with JR's product there, pick some up on the way in. We will buy a batch of it for the whole gym.
There you go.
Yeah.
So now the pressure's on me. How about 5, Dave? Because I couldn't even do 1 today. So how about 5? How about we go for 5?
Yeah. That was a cool story. We did this run event, and this guy, he hadn't hit his 5-kilometer PB for 3 years. And this is when we were just doing the trials of VO2 Max. This is the first iteration. It tasted like absolute garbage, and it was gross. And I can't believe people took it that day. But he was so skeptical about it, and he's like, there's no way. Like, because I was trying to tell him just the science behind it. I was like, here you go, take a sample, just see how you go. He didn't beat the 5K, but he matched it. And it was 3 years, and he was like, nah, no way, that's a placebo. And then he bought one just to when we did launch it, and then he ended up, I'm pretty sure he beat his PB, but then obviously then it comes down to like your diet, sleep, and everything. But he did swear by it, and I was like, it was a really cool story. I was like, yeah,
that was very cool.
Had another lady down in Melbourne who she competes quite a fair bit, but her story was that she always needed her asthma puffer when she was on the gym floor. Yeah, but ever since
I can't breathe sometimes.
Yeah,
and that helped her breathing.
Yeah, and even peppermint oil stimulates your vagus nerve as well. So for cramping. So it's I actually I go down too many rabbit holes. But I always used to be so interested in why sports people use pickle juice. What is in pickle juice that actually helps with cramping and things like that? And it only has a bit of sodium. There's not too many chemicals in it. But then I actually come across that what happens is that pickle juice stimulates the vagus nerve, and because the vagus nerve runs through the whole body, that when you're cramping, it can when you release it, it can kind of release your whole body at the same time too. And peppermint oil actually does the exact same thing too. It stimulates the vagus nerve.
But it tastes much better than pickle juice.
Oh, yeah.
So what about, do you get this question, if I'm eating a crap ton of ribeye and lamb chops and chicken and, pork, which is how I eat, and kind of one of the reasons why I haven't sort of dived into the supplement world, and, because I feel as though I don't need to supplement such a diet. If I'm having 500 grams of ribeye, and basically 5 nights a week is very much just red meat centric diet. Am I already getting enough in that sort of volume of actual beef?
100%. That's why I start, even when I do a seminar, I say I'm an owner of a supplement company, but I'll tell you to get everything from your diet first. But you got to remember, Dave, not everyone's like you. Everyone's time poor. Everyone's stressed. Everyone's not sleeping right. Everyone's not, counting their calories and actually looking into their diet. So then that's where, if you're not getting it from your diet, that's when, they even say it on there, they're dietary supplements. So if you're not getting something from your diet, you need a supplement product into your diet. So then going back to what our mission is, if we formulate to people's deficiencies, we can go, okay, well, I already know there's deficiency in athletes with fats. That's where VO2 Max comes in. I can see that they're not eating enough red meat. You talk to people and all they do is eat lean meats and eat chicken and fish, 3 times a day. So you already know that they're actually creatine deficient because they're not getting anything from. They might get a little bit from their fish, but it's going to come from that red meat, isn't it? Then you talk to them
they're probably displacing a lot of the meat with all the rice and pasta and what other things athletes love eating.
Yeah,
all that
and then
starch and stuff.
Yeah, and then you talk to them about are they eating a lot of vegetables for their micronutrients as well? Generally, they're not probably eating enough, so that's where your zinc, magnesium come in. I think it's 1 in 3 women. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men have a zinc magnesium deficiency. Magnesium is one of the bioactive cofactors in every single muscle cell in our body. If you're deficient in that, like there's a reason why you're feeling stressed, why you can't sleep, you're not recovering properly. It's just little enzymes that you need that are just, that you're deficient in, that is just not allowing you to run optimally. So that zinc magnesium, I always tell people to take zinc magnesium. Like this product here, such a simple formula. People will take it. Like if they're, first thing I can say to them is like, how's your sleep? They say, I can't sleep. Why can't you sleep? My brain's just ticking too fast before I go to sleep. Okay, what's your work life like? Oh, yeah, I'm stressed all the time. Okay, straight away, I know they got high cortisol levels. Okay, what's your diet like? They're not eating a lot of vegetables. They're eating maybe 2 meals a day. Okay, I know they're zinc magnesium deficient. So they take something like 4 to 5 p.m., zinc magnesium. So you got zinc gluconate, you got magnesium glycinate, so magnesium bonded to glycine. So that's just going to help with releasing more GABA in the body, but actually allowing your body to switch off. And then ashwagandha as well. Ashwagandha is getting a lot of research now, which is really cool for actually balancing that cortisol levels. So all of a sudden, you drop their cortisol levels, you turn off the muscle cells to actually allow them to go from the fight and flight response. All of a sudden, they're sleeping better. They're like, oh my God, I feel amazing. I can't believe that product's a lifesaver. It's like, no, you actually had a fair bit of deficiencies there. I've just given you something that topped up that deficiency. If you could get it from your diet, get off this product. Unfortunately, they're just going to get it from their diet.
It's really expensive to buy lots of red meat. Like, it's not unusual to pay $40 a kilo, even when you buy it in bulk.
Yeah,
like we buy it in bulk. It's several $100s a week just for the slab, and that a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah, and I think that's what so. I know you said that creatine was like one of the most popular products that's on the market, but also protein powders. Protein powders are probably very up there, like probably just up there with creatine. And it's because of that one thing, is that it's getting so expensive to eat a high protein diet these days. Even even go to get vegetables now. Inflation, like it's so expensive just to eat. It's so expensive to eat healthy. But yet I can go to Mac down the road and probably feed my family for $20. It's
crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah.
So what supplements do you take, JR? What out of all? Because obviously I'm expecting you've got a pretty good diet because you understand all those concepts. So what supplements do you take?
So one thing I always do is just I always take our protein powder. Like I'll probably have 2 serves of that a day, just so I know I'm getting about 50 grams of protein just from that. Then I'm eating about 3-4 meals throughout the day as well, which is a blend between chicken, fish, and steaks. So I know that I'm actually getting 30-40 grams of protein there. So I know that macronutrient wise, my body's getting enough protein. So then I know that protein, it breaks down to amino acids. Our muscles are made up of amino acids. So I know the recovery side, that at least I'm hitting those macronutrients. I live on 4 to 5 p.m., obviously being a business owner and, doing long days. So my cortisol levels are through the roof all the time. I notice a massive difference if I'm not taking 4 to 5 p.m. that, my energy levels and moods can go all over the place. And I think just that zinc magnesium in there, plus with the ashwagandha, so simple. But obviously there's more in that formula at the same time too. But I will always take 4 to 5 p.m. When I was younger, I was a massive caffeine pre-workout drinker. But now that I'm getting older and more into CrossFit, I know that I don't want to have that side. So I will take the O2 Max with my coffee as well. That's just my pre-workout, and I'll have some electrolytes at the same time too. But generally my electrolytes, I'll take it with Hydro Boost Plus, because that's the one with carbohydrates, but the cyclodextrin, and has all your amino acids in there, and then also your electrolytes at the same time. They're probably the products that I take religiously. So our protein powder, 4 to 5 p.m, VO2 Max, and our Hydro Boost. They're the one.
That 4 to 5 p.m. might be good for you, Dave. You might have to try that and see how it works.
Well, all those things you mentioned, they're like the sleep hormones, aren't they? The zinc and magnesium and the adenosine, they're all they all are chemicals that are putting your brain into the sleep cycles, the deep sleep cycles. Yeah, exactly right. I can't. I have terrible sleep. I just can't. I just can't sort of ever wake up fresh.
Yeah.
I practice all the sleep hygiene stuff, all that stuff they tell you, the basic stuff. Don't look at your screens before bed, and try to sort of switch off from work. I'm not on the computer or laptop before work. I watch a bit of TV before, but our TV is not even an LCD screen; it's a projector. So I'm just basically looking at them. There's no fluorescence. There's no it's just a projector onto the wall. And I go nuts when someone turns the light on. Turn the light off.
Being a doctor.
So how fast does Fortify work? Like if you start taking it, JR, in your experience?
Should be pretty quick. Like honestly, you could probably almost notice that you get into a deeper sleep the first time you take it. But it also depends, it also depends what is keeping you up at night. Let's just say if someone is depressed and we talk about SSRIs, yourself, Dave, being a doctor, what does that they all sort of go on the 5-HTP receptor, isn't it? And that's just lowering cortisol levels and things like that to allow your body to swap out of that. So ashwagandha it's starting to show that it is getting a bit more, that it's not working on the 5-HTP receptor, but it is just being an adaptogenic herb just to help lower cortisol levels. And I guess if you can lower those cortisol levels before bed, and you are someone that just can't get to sleep because your mind races, that's where you will actually find that 4 to 5 p.m. works pretty quick. And then you should start to notice your heart rate variability sort of is a bit different, because obviously you're getting into that deep sleep. Once we get into that deep sleep, what your body goes into, is it delta? That's the one where your body actually converts, releases more growth hormone in the body, and that's when you have massive rapid eye movement sleep. And you start to feel 10 times better because you're waking up more fresh, because your body's actually going into recovery mode at the same time too. And then I guess the downfall for us is that we all do CrossFit. What does CrossFit do? Smashes your central nervous system. How many times do you actually walk out of a WOD where you're not actually shaking? You're always shaking. Central nervous system just being
you're totally jacked up. You're just completely psyched for a few hours, which is why we come back the next day, because we're addicted to that jacked feeling. You work out at 6 o'clock at night. You're still jacked at 10 p.m. Oh, come on.
100%. Yeah. And your cortisol levels are going to be high, so I reckon you'll feel 4 to 5 p.m. pretty quick.
Okay, I'll try some of that.
I'll buy you some tomorrow when I get the VO2 max.
My birthday's coming up, mate. What about JR? What about the BCAAs? There's a product out there called branched chain amino acids.
Yeah.
Is that something a little bit? Is that a marketing thing, in contrast to just protein supplements, where you're getting all your essential amino acids?
So the big thing with branched chain amino acids, they're made up of 3 amino acids. It's leucine, isoleucine, and valine. So those 3 products do show to help with mTOR, so muscle protein synthesis. But what the research is actually showing is your branched chain amino acids don't actually work unless you're having your non-essential amino acids and your essential amino acids. So if people are going out there and just buying branched chain amino acids by themselves, chances are you're not going to get that good results. This is exactly why with, Hydro Boost, you've got all your essential amino acids, you've got all your branched chain amino acids, then you've got your non-essential amino acids. You've got the whole amino acid spectrum. Drinking, they're all in their peptide chains, break down, they go straight through the gut, straight into the blood, and feed your muscles straight away. So once we're training, you're making those micro tears on your train, while you're training. Those amino acids are just going to get to work. So your body's always in that anabolic phase that you're always building. You're never actually, catabolic, where you're actually decreasing muscle. I think that's the big thing, is with CrossFit longevity, it's all about the recovery. Yes, we want to push as hard as we can in the gym, but I think the better you can recover, the better you're going to be as an athlete, moving forwards. I think a lot of us just, we want to train as hard as we can, and then we CrossFitters, I'd have to say, have a pretty good diet though. Like they're pretty good in regards to how they eat, but I do feel like the emphasis on the recovery is maybe a little bit missed as well. And then that's where the amino acid, if you're not recovering properly, that's where it could come into play. But don't just use branched chain amino acids by themselves. Use them with essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids.
Right. Okay. So it's just one. The branched chain amino acid product is just one key to unlocking the door, but there's a couple of locks on the door. You need the other keys as well.
Could I ask a really stupid question? Non-essential, like why? Like it says it in the name that they're non-essential. Why do you need them? Because
like the essential and non-essential. I'm gonna get this wrong because it's like I'm dyslexic. But like it doesn't mean like with a non-essential essential. It means one of them is what your body actually can produce naturally, and the other one is basically going to be what your body doesn't actually produce. So you actually have to get from your diet. So your body can naturally produce branched chain amino acids through like fermentation sort of ways, but generally we want to get it from our diet. So that's why, like, having the whole amino acid spectrum in a product is actually going to work 10 times more than just a product that has branched chain amino acids and that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're all essential, but I think it's about 20 amino acids, aren't there? 20 odd amino acids, and there's 9 essential amino acids, meaning our body can't build those from other molecules. So therefore, if we don't eat them in our diet, we'll die. Basically, you'll be sick without those 9 essential amino acids in our diet, and the 3 branched chain amino acids are part of the 9 essential amino acids.
Yeah. So when we look at a protein powder, even like so with the aminos, let's say Hydro Boost, for instance, has 19, 20 ingredients in there. We have to have every single one of those ingredients by themselves. I hate manufacturing that product, but we have to do it. So we have to get all 19, 20 products. They all come in their own individual tubs, have the clinical doses of each one, and then we got to blend them all together. So it's not just like a simple process that just already comes pre-blended for us. We have to literally sit there weighing out 19 ingredients to make that product too. So there's a lot that goes behind Hydro Boost. But then if you actually picture like a protein powder in general, Anthony, if you take the milkness out of the protein powder and you just left the peptides that are in there or the amino acids, you would then have all your branched chain amino acids. You would then have all your essentials and your non-essentials, and that's what makes up that protein powder. Protein is just a macronutrient, but amino acids is the actual, molecules that our body actually. Yeah. That's the chemical.
And the Heco protein has all those things in it, doesn't it? It's got all of that.
Funny question. So with this as well, because there's different types of protein on the market. There's so many, if you walk into maybe a gym bro supplements.
Whey protein, that seems to be the cheapest whey protein.
Yeah, there's always going to be this argument of what protein's better, what is it? And like I don't hate's a strong word. I dislike this argument because it depends why you're taking it. So the reason why we use hydrolyzed collagen, it's lower in your isoleucine, leucine, and valine, so your branched chain amino acids. So muscle protein synthesis is always going to be low on hydrolyzed collagen, but we're not advertising to a bodybuilder or someone like that wants to build muscle. We're advertising to your everyday athlete and your high-end athletes to help with longevity in sport. Collagen is 30% of our body. A lot of these athletes are eating lean meats. Like they barely even eat red meat at times too. So then they've already got a collagen deficiency. So if they're not getting collagen from their diet, then they need to get it from elsewhere. Because if it's 30% of our body, which is our tendons, ligaments, fascia tissue, it's our gut lining, it does a lot in our body. That's what's actually going to help with performance. So that's why we use hydrolyzed collagen. Also, it misses tryptophan as an amino acid. So they say that it's not a full amino acid mix. We actually add tryptophan to the Hiko protein or to our dairy-free protein. So I would like to say that, like, you know, our protein is a performance protein. That's what you're taking it for. You're taking it for the longevity in your sport of functional fitness, CrossFit, high rocks or something like that. But it's not just about the looks. It's about your actual performance. That's why we use, hydrolyzed collagen.
Yeah, well, I can speak very highly of the Hiko protein. I've been taking it for nearly a month now, and my aches and pains in my knees when I take it kind of disappear, and when I don't take it, they're back within like 2 or 3 days. Like I can see the difference in them. Like, it wasn't what I expected. Like, because I all of a sudden, like, my leg just didn't hurt, and I was like, what's going on? What have I done different? Is it that protein? And then I thought, okay, I'm not going to have it now for 2 days and see what happens. And it came back, and then I said, okay, I'm drinking the protein. So I like that honestly, protein. I think it does a good job.
Yeah, honestly, it's not uncommon for us to have people say that to us. We had this lady who, she had some degenerative knee muscle atrophy, something to do with her knee. But like, she always, when she did a CrossFit session, she always had to have a knee brace, and she's had it for like 6-7 years ever since she started CrossFit. And then she started taking the protein and also Mobility Plus as well. And she come up to me at the Oceanus, and she's like, I've got a bone to pick with you, because she's like, I just don't know if this is placebo or like how this is actually happening. She's like, I'm training without my knee brace anymore. And she's like, is it your protein and the mobility? And I was like, honestly, like, if you actually just look at the science that Gelita has done on 10-40 gel or just hydrolyzed collagen in general, like, what you're feeling just adds up to the research. Like, it's just
lots of N=1 studies, JR, which is pretty powerful. Yeah. Like, there's when thousands of people are telling you that they're recovering from their symptoms. I know it's an N=1 story, but when you add them all up, it's pretty powerful.
Oh, 100%. Yep. And that's actually like, and that's what keeps the fire in my belly going, you know, like, it can get disheartening in sort of like the supplement industry, just because it is a very marketing sort of industry, and there's a new brand coming out left, right, and center, and you know, they're advertising, oh, this is going to help you burn fat, this is going to do this, is going to do that, and then in my head, I'm like, oh my god, here we go. But then when I hear
they all want to tap into that $1 trillion pie.
yeah, exactly. And like,
just a little slice, thanks. Just a little slice of the $1 trillion pie. That's all I want.
Yeah,
I'm not greedy. But like you said, you've got to provide a good product.
Yeah, but then what happens is that these people, you know, your everyday population, they go and buy that product. That product doesn't work, and then what it does is it actually makes the person not trust supplements. So then, you know, then they're not going to actually try anything to actually help their performance. It's until, like, you know, if I can get them, like, or whether it's me or, you know, any other brand that educates, hopefully there's more brands that educate, you know, where I can get in front of them and say, hey, yeah, you don't need supplements, but let me run through what your day in the life looks like. Okay, I can see you've got deficiencies here and here and here. Take these products. All of a sudden they're getting results and they're starting to feel a lot better. And then they start to feel normal, because you know, your body's never going to go way above of what it needs to be. It's always going to be homeostasis. Whether you're high, you're low, it's always going to try to bring you back to normal. It's just that I see the common trend. People forget what normal feels like. That's what because they live in the human rat race, and we're too fast and things are moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, that they live in this like low, you know, where just everything is deficient and they just don't know what normal feels like. That's why, and you give them zinc magnesium, they feel amazing, and like, they're not just feeling amazing, they're just feeling normal again. Like,
just listen to the vegans who convert from vegan back to eating normal food, and the day after they've had lamb chops, it's like, holy, it's like the sun's come down. Their whole life they've been vegan. And oh my god, this is what life.
What do you make of the pea proteins and the vegan proteins? Are they efficient in helping people? Or
getting better now. So it's like
getting
with
better.
proteins, with the bioavailability of proteins, they all get measured to a thing called kilodaltons. I don't know if you've heard of but kilodaltons is just like the size of the molecule. Obviously, the smaller it is, the more bioavailable it is, because your body doesn't have to fight to break it down, and it should get through the gut a lot faster. Vegan proteins are unfortunately quite large in kilodaltons. So even if, let's say someone had 20 grams of a vegan protein, they might not digest that whole 20 grams of protein, So that's the thing. But there seems to be a lot more innovation in that space coming through. Like, you generally good brands, and like I'll speak highly of like James Newbury, like he lives and breathes a vegan lifestyle, but I would sell his protein because he uses a blend between pea protein, hemp protein, pumpkin protein, so all these other proteins that have smaller kilodaltons in them, so like it would actually be a lot more rapidly absorbed. So like, and that's why, when I say there's good people in this industry, I think, Fiber's a good brand. Like, he advertises to that vegan market, and he's trying to help them with the deficiencies that they're not getting enough protein. Here's a good protein powder. Like, so I think innovation in that space is definitely happening, and it's about finding a good one too. I feel like sometimes it can just be the marketing sort of ploy in that vegan space, but it takes a person like James to try to change it.
Yeah, and those guys need the supplements, otherwise they'll die. Right?
Yeah.
Whereas we're taking it, just okay, we're not sleeping very well. We'll take some 4 to 5 p.m. We want to get a bit stronger, a bit more swollen, and better recovery, so we can perform better. It's not like if we don't take it, if we don't take the supplements, it's not like we're gonna die. But the vegans who don't take the supplements, they will end up in a wheelchair, like without any question of doubt. Their diet is insufficient to keep their spinal cord healthy. They will be in a wheelchair. So they need but anyway,
tell us, Jay, what new products have you got coming out that you're excited about?
There is a couple of cool products. I don't want to say it because then people will be like, "Oh, that's a cool idea," and try to copy it.
They're going to see it on your website anyway.
Don't tell us. Don't tell us the product. Tell us what it'll do. Tell us what.
So I want to do a triple magnesium, but the innovation behind it, I think, will be better. Like the way that we deliver it, because people want convenience these days. It seems like people are too lazy to get a powder out of a product, put it in a shaker, shake it up, put water in beforehand, and then drink it. Like, we're going to do a product called Mag PM. So there's a drop for here, which is going to be like a 3-form or a couple of different magnesiums in a dropper. That will taste really good, like that. They can just drop it into their mouth, have it before bed. Super simple. If they can't have the 4 to 5 p.m., they can have the other one that will do. I think that would be cool because we're still kind of being innovative in that space. Like magnesium is obviously a massive topic right now for recovery, but I think we will be innovative in the space of how we actually do it. The cool thing is that it's hard for other brands to be able to create the product because they don't have many they don't have a research and development scientists. We have 2. They get to work on this stuff. We're going to do a liposomal vitamin C. I really want to do that because vitamin C is a fat-soluble vitamin, and I just want to increase the absorption of it, especially just around winter time. Would love to release it now, but we can't. We got to do more research behind it. But I think that'll be a cool product because obviously vitamin C will help with all the antioxidants, getting rid of free radicals in the body. That'll be a cool product. We're going to be doing a lot more collabs as well. You're going to see something cool that we'll do with Jake Douglas. That'll be cool.
Awesome. Cool.
Maybe
I saw you working with. I saw you starting to work with the snake guys. So
Good
You're
people.
gonna launch it. You're gonna launch it with the CrossFit Games. Are you gonna try and get over to CrossFit Games and do some marketing over there?
We're gonna have one of our Dean, the guy, the Pommy guy. He's gonna head over for us. I hate flying, so I'm not going over.
I'll be there. I'll be there, JR. If you want me to wear one of your t-shirts around, I'll wear one of your t-shirts around.
Oh, cool, 100%. Yeah, you guys should take your podcast equipment and go interview some athletes. Yeah.
And you can always we can always promo your stuff with a coupon code.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, straight into the market.
Camp 10 for 10% off JR's products.
100%. Yep.
JR, I noticed the flavors here. You've got quite a host of flavors that it almost makes them sound like ice cream or something. The candy boost, the candy grape, mango passion fruit, vanilla ice, chocolate caramel. It sounds salted caramel. How do you do that? Like, what is the process of making them palatable?
So that's where I was saying my business partner Dale, she is so good at it. Like, if she's born for something, she's born for flavoring or like research and development. She is very good. She's created products that sit in your Woolworths and Coles right now for multiple different brands. She's worked for, Nestle's, the Unilevers. Like, she's done a lot of research and development. She's been doing this for 20 years right now. And I like the one thing with Ascend, like, even though we're quite a small company, like, I remember we had this guy and he's like, oh my God, your formulas are world class. And I'm like, we're world class and we're very underrated. And like, I would do it to Dale just because the way she can, commercialize a product and take a product from nothing and actually create it, and to do it right as well. Like, when we release a flavor, like, we don't just go out and find one flavor house and, this is the one that's going to work. We get multiple products. We formulate it. We take 1, 2, and 3 to like a CrossFit gym. We get real-time feedback, which one they like, what they didn't like, where we need to tinker it. She then does it again. We go back out, test it again. Then that's when we get that product. Say the Hickle protein. We did that with the Hickle protein. We've sold out of it 3 times. Not one person has actually said that they didn't like it. Like, we actually get a lot of people like sending us messages like, this is the best protein powder I've ever tasted in my life. And like,
it is.
And
I'll thoroughly reckon. I will back that up. It is the best protein I've ever tasted. It's so good. So I even tried it with water the other day, because normally I drink it with milk because protein powder with water is shit. But I tried it with water the other day and went, this is actually not bad. This is still, I can still drink this. So
yeah. So
it's spot on.
We're going to have some really cool, like with the collabs with all the athletes that we're sort of signing right now, which is really cool. And I'm very grateful, because it just seems that, if we go 3 years ago, it was so hard to sign an athlete. Like, you're a new brand, no one knows who you are. And if you fast forward now, like, we've got this, like, I'd say we've almost got one of the best CrossFit teams in all of Australia. like once you see a couple more announcements that will come through, like, we've got this really good team. But yeah, we're going to be doing, like, we're trying to bring the athletes into the products, because I know, being an athlete can be hard. And I think if we can be that brand that really supports the athlete, like, actually properly support them and create signature series for them, I think some of the flavors that you're going to see come through, like, are going to be amazing. Like, they're going to, like, this Hickle protein, like, it is very, very good. I think they'll all be in line with their, they'll be like your white chocolate chip cookie doughs, and
but it's not like erythritol or fructose or corn syrup. It's none of those utilizes.
No. Like, we use your xanthan gum. The only thing, like, we use sucralose, but this is the thing. I trust the research. And if you look at sucralose, it just mimics the same molecule structure as a sugar molecule. Like, the biochemistry is, like, the first time I took biochemistry, I remember my biochemist lecturer literally said, "This is sugar, this is sucralose. They're the exact same." So when people complain about that and they say, "Oh, I want a natural sweetener," if you look at creatine, that's in meat, and you look at creatine that is made for industrial processes, they're the exact same chemical structure. So with sucralose, I think sucralose is probably one of the better ones out there. And even though it's an artificial sweetener, it's not your aspartames, it's not your, your dyes, your food coloring dyes. And the amount that you use, say we do 100 kilo blend. So you've got 100 kilo raw material in there. There's probably 60 grams of sucralose that actually goes through that.
Yeah.
There's hardly anything.
It's just got to not make you puke after swallowing it, right? Like it's
100%.
That's it's not. No one's expecting it to be a glass of Chardonnay or a nice milkshake, but it's just got to be palatable.
Which I think we can. And like with Dale, the way we use, so for chocolate, we use a lot of natural cocoa in there. People don't realize cocoa, and we use MCT powder and to actually thicken it up. So the texture of our protein. So that's where she comes in. She knows the chemistry behind all of this stuff. It's funny, when she just talks and she thinks that she's talking so layman's term, but then all of us are like, "Oh, what do you mean?" She would talk about the different receptors and things like that, and how she can bypass different receptors using a different, malic acid or some sort of acid to bypass some receptor, so you're not getting that bitterness. There's such a chemistry to it. There is a chemistry to it. There's not many Dales out there.
You got monohydrate, creatine monohydrate. There is another common form. I think it's creatine hydrochloride. Is it?
Yeah.
What's the difference between those two? Why the monohydrate versus the HCl?
I do know. Just wait. It's 8:30 at night. I'm trying to remember this. It's
most of them do seem to be monohydrate. I don't know why they.
A lot of them do monohydrate. It's something.
Is it if you do get a bit of gut upsetness from the creatine, if it's caused a bit of bloating, you can.
Gut upset and the bloating. That's the main things for hydrochloride.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember the molecular reasoning behind the two. I have read about it and went down a rabbit hole on it. But cost per unit on hydrochloride, it's actually a lot more expensive.
It's more expensive.
But the thing with creatine though is what I say, if they do get issues and they go to hydrochloride, I always tell them just creatine monohydrate is so cheap for what it is. What they can do is maybe just microdose their creatine throughout the day. So instead of taking, let's say if it was a woman and she was taking 6 grams of creatine, she was doing 2-3 gram serves. If that was upsetting her gut and she's feeling bloated, I would then go, okay, instead of that, go 1.5 grams in the morning, 1.5 before training, 1.5 after, 1.5 with dinner. Then all of a sudden she's still getting a 6 grams, but probably enough where it's not hurting her guts. So there are ways.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That's probably why we mostly see monohydrate, because it's just a bit cheaper to manufacture.
Yeah. And economies of scale on that too.
It is getting late, JR, but last question from me. I don't know about Anthony, but can you say that there's any side effects? Every drug, we're taught in med school that for every drug to have an effect, desired effect, there has to be a side effect. We just talked about bloating, but are there any other more chemical? The bloating is just a osmotic effect of water coming into the gut and filling your gut. But is there any more from a chemical standpoint side effect of these agents? I have heard acne and hair loss and things like that. Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
I think anything, what I think I mentioned before, anything too good can sometimes be a negative to the body. Your body's always going to go to homeostasis, isn't it? But let's just say with creatine, for instance, like, yeah, you use it for too long, maybe it will start to help, produce more creatinine, but creatinine in the kidneys. So that, to use creatine safe, like, well, let's say load it, like use it for 8 to 12 weeks and just have a little bit of a gap on it. And like, I would always do that too, because your body adapts to things at the same time too. It's always adapting. So like, then say this is a good one, caffeine. What happens? The first time you take caffeine, you're like, whoa, I got so much energy. This is amazing. Keep taking it. All of a sudden, it's not working. I'm going to up my dose. Okay, I'll up my dose. I feel good again. All of a sudden, stops working again. So all of a sudden, you got that negative feedback loop of your body gets used to things. So the only way to feel that effect again is to get off that product, let your body reset itself, then go back on it. Then all of a sudden, you're going to feel those effects again. So I think because these are all food supplements, though, like, your protein powders and things like that, like, they're going to be safe to take every single day. We eat every single day. We need it. Like zinc, magnesium.
Food is chemicals.
Yep. Well, what happens when we eat it? We eat, then it converts it into, into food, chemical energy, and then that's what breaks it down and goes to our muscles and does what it needs to do. And then, zinc, magnesium, we have that every single day. Like, a lot of them are going to be safe-ish because obviously they're all food supplements anyway. I think it's when you're playing. Thing is, if you're using a product that starts to play around with hormones, that's probably when you're kind of saying, okay, there might be a side effect if you use something for too long.
Yeah. I suppose, kidney, you mentioned creatinine, which is the breakdown product of creatine. People who have kidney issues, do you put like a little warning on your thing, like if you have kidney disease, consult your doctor or anything like that?
Yeah. Every single product that we have has the warning on it. Like, I'm just looking up 4 to 5 p.m. right now. Like, disclaimer: this product should not be used in conjunction without an appropriate physical training or exercise program. This is not a sole source of nutrition. It should be consumed in conjunction with a nutritional diet and appropriate fluid intake. So we abide by it.
My wife has a chronic. She has a genetic kidney disorder, so she has to be very careful with how much protein she has because of the breakdown products, creatinine, which is excreted by the kidney, and it can accelerate kidney damage if you have too much creatine. Creatinine, which is one of the. You've had a blood test before when you order urea and electrolytes on your blood test. One of the things that they measure is creatinine, the glomerular filtration rate, and if your creatinine is going high, then the kidney specialist will get, holy shit, you're getting advancing kidney failure. So that's probably something
they will look at, though, because what you just mentioned there, though, like, because obviously, like, creatinine for an athlete, like, creatinine is going to be high if they're dehydrated, isn't it? Like, it's always going to be high if they're dehydrated. But then the main key factor there is the estimated glomerular filtration rate. Like, if that's high, your kidneys aren't functioning properly. Like, you need to get off everything, to be honest. I think even, like, I guess what you just said there, like, even having too much protein, having too much urea in the body, and, like, it could probably lead to gout, things like that. But I guess that's where doing things in reason, and I think there's that simple, I know there's a more scientific formula, but that's simple. For every pound of body weight you need a gram of protein. Like, very simple one to live by. 70-kilo guy, you probably need 150 grams of protein. Like, you don't need to be eating 200 to 250 grams of protein. You just need 150. And then if you're trying to build more muscle and put on more weight, you're probably just needing more carbohydrates in your diet. You don't need more. You just need the adequate amount for you. I guess then what your goals are.
100%. So I have one final question for you, JR. Where's the company headed? So you've been going for 3 years. You're starting to obviously get growth. It seems like you've got more of an athlete roster. Where is it headed?
I think I think it's not really where we want to head. I think it's actually just doing what we're continuing to do, not losing our DNA in the process at the same time. You know, we need to just keep being innovative, keep, seeing where there's deficiencies, keep, bringing out cool, new, innovative products. Like I want to go down this liposomal technology more, like especially with the probiotic space and how our body can absorb different ingredients with liposomal stuff. But I think, getting more of our signature athletes, getting their signature series out in the marketplace. Like I would love to, keep going down that because I think it's something.
So who have you got signed at the moment? So as your athletes, like you've got Hiko, obviously.
So you got Hiko, you got Gemma Hawk, you got Isabella Valio. You got Laura Clifton there. We've got Gabby Smith now, so that's a cool one. I think very close to Christina Vladikis as well. You got Jake Douglas. You got Zane Healy as well. And then there's two more that we're talking to that I think will come through, which will be big ones. Cool. Which I think, if we get those through, I think that will be, we'll have a very good team. Yeah.
And is it just a focus on CrossFit athletes, or do you have a focus on like other sports that you're trying to look at?
Well, the reason why I like CrossFit is because I feel like people don't like being bullshitted in CrossFit. That's probably the main thing. Is like, if you look at the brands that have done well in CrossFit, they're actually the ones that kind of have gone out and done a lot of education and, done a lot of community and built their brand around that. And I like that. And there's not many brands that have broken through in CrossFit at the same time too. And I feel like that's our community, especially right now. Like, we might venture down call it like the more sporting pathways, call it your NRL, AFL, things like that. But I think just for now, like just doubling down in that CrossFit space, like it's working. We've got a really good team in it. People are receptive to actually learn as well. Like when I do my seminars, it's generally at a CrossFit gym. And I like it because CrossFit gyms, they're owner operators as well. So they want to add value to their members and they genuinely want to add value. It's not just like, hey, come in just to, sell product. It's come in because I genuinely want to learn and want my members to learn at the same time. And then I think it's just that community around that, which is going to be like, that's why we're just doubling down in it, just making sure that our team in CrossFit is the best in Australia. And then, just start running that model internationally after that. But, we got to walk before we run.
Exciting.
And I think, so we've got we'll have the New Zealand champs will be there in August. Hopefully we should be down under championships this year as well. And then just heaps of sort of your local comps at the same time too. We're just trying to get there as much as we can, get into as many CrossFit where we will do. There'll be an announcement soon actually, but there'll be a cool thing that we'll do like a tour with Jake. I think that'll be a cool one. Still in the planning phase. Hasn't been confirmed yet, but HWPO by us then, and we'll probably start in Townsville and drive all the way down to northern New South Wales and stop at every sort of CrossFit gym along that way. And we got some cool products that we're going to do collab with him for.
Well, you got to stop in. You got to stop in our gym. You got to stop at CrossFit.
100%. Yeah, that's what we're doing. It's literally just community. That's what we're doing with him. Really good person, proper good person. It will just be fun, I think. And he has so much experience. He just, he talks the talk and walks the walk. That's what you get from Jay. He just an absolute gun.
We're going to have him on soon. So once he finishes, and hopefully him and Georgia and the team do really well and win and show up the Americans and show what the teams can do.
That's what I love. Supposedly I just rapping like everyone's like so serious at Torian, and they're just taking the piss.
It was pretty cool to watch them. They were awesome. I will we'll remember Georgia doing those ridiculous burpees over the wall so
That
fast.
Wall. Crazy.
So,
yeah.
And Jake as well, actually. Like Jake was ridiculous. For his size and the way he was across that wall was just like, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
His gymnastics is really good for a big guy. I remember he was actually outside your booth, and he came up behind us, and I was having a chat with him for a bit. I asked him how heavy he was. He said something like 100 kilos or something like that. 110 kilos. And I was, how are you doing those ring muscle ups? Like you're like a little whippet, isn't that?
Yeah.
It's all technique. It's not strength.
Yeah.
So,
it's that Tamworth strong. That's what it is. They're just
Tamworth strong.
It's like they're built different down there. They're like farm strong, you know.
Yeah, you got it.
Yep.
All right,
that was mate, we've been talking for an hour and a half. I said to Anthony, I bet this will be a short podcast. We'll only go for like an hour or less than an hour.
Yeah.
An hour and a half later, we finish up. Jeez, there's so much deep diving into it, isn't there? So it's so good. So exciting. I love that. I love the topic tonight. It was great. I really, really had fun.
Yep. No, 100%. Hopefully, many more to come, eh? Many more to come.
Yeah, we'll be in touch. We're going to get some of the. I think I'll start taking a bit of creatine, even if it stops me losing my mind. Doesn't change my performance, but if it stops me getting dementia, I'll be happy. And the 4 to 5 p.m. too. So we'll be in touch.
I'm coming to your establishment. It's in Meadowbrook, isn't it? I believe. Just behind the hospital. Yeah.
So, near the hospital. Yeah.
So
let us know when we can let us know when we can get a Camp 10 code for your stuff.
Yeah.
A discount code.
I can set that up.
If you set it up for us, Camp 10, that'd be awesome. And then we'll talk about your products too when we do our podcast.
Yeah, perfect.
Just to keep it floating around the airwaves.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. Cool. Well, this
all right, mate. We'll let you go. Good night.
See you, JR.
Bye. Whew. Another great chat with another fantastic guest, Anthony.
It certainly was. That was so fascinating, so interesting. So
all of our shows, all of our guests and our shows, like they're just such. I mean, yes, it's long form. It's an hour and a half. No one's got time to sit down and listen to it for an hour. But seriously, if they did, they'd really enjoy the content. I'm sure.
I'm sure they would, and they will. Like we just gotta keep going, Dave. We can't.
We didn't put the comment on.
Oh.
Did we show the comment? Here we go.
There we go.
Yeah, great interview. Very informative. Does Svetlana take protein supplements?
She does take the Heco protein. She has that with me. She quite likes it. It's a really good protein. And it tastes like a milkshake. And
it does taste like a milkshake.
Also, her mum, we started putting her on creatine. We started putting her on creatine when she was over here. So
Rael's creatine or just generic brand?
Oh no, it was a good brand. It wasn't Ascend, but it was it was a German brand. So
okay, the German stuff. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't the Aldi creatine. It was a
Aldi. Yep. You can get that massive bucket. Like you need 2 arms to walk out with it, right? It's so freaking huge.
It's such a cheap product. Even the good stuff is really such a cheap product. Really, when you look at it's like 9. I think you can get like a 250, 300 gram thing, even a good product for like $9 to $18. It's not an expensive product. Like really, protein's way more expensive.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at like $80, for protein.
Okay.
So Yeah.
Because I think I will start taking a bit of creatine. Maybe I'll pinch some of Charlotte's. Charlotte, if you're watching, I'm going to pinch some of your creatine.
Oh, we got another comment. We got another comment. Laurel Barrel Hepburn. Hello.
Creatine makes me noise. Okay, Laura, that's
So-
what JR was saying, to microdose it. Like if you really want to take it, to microdose it so that you don't get the osmotic effect, because it's highly osmotic, and osmotic means it sucks water in, and because you've got a gut wall, if the creatine is sitting in your gut and needing to be absorbed, you're going to end up sucking the water into your gut, and that makes you bloated. It makes you feel bloated, nauseous.
So JR's suggestion was to microdose. So
Micro-
if you're doing
monohydrochloride, creatine hydrochloride, which is the other form of creatine.
yeah, so but if you're an athlete and you're wanting to, use it for performance, like for a woman, he said like 6 grams. For someone who just wants to use it for general health, it's like 3 grams. So you can then just break it up into 1 gram lots through the day. So that was his suggestion. So Laura, hope you can listen to it again. You can listen to him say it rather than me. But yeah, hopefully that helps.
How many, Laura? How many grams are you taking per day? That would probably solve that problem. Yeah, thanks for the comment, Laura. Thank you. No other comments?
No other comments.
No.
Oh,
Creatine.
So that's awesome.
Brilliant. Okay, mate. Thanks.
It's time to get some creatine in us from meat.
2 weeks time. We should be back. We should be back. We've got another guest lined up who is. Oh, here we go. No worries. You're welcome, Lauren. You're welcome. Thanks for watching. And
and subscribe. Subscribe.
We're out here doing these shows for people and for ourselves and for fun. But another cool guest in 2 weeks' time. Hopefully we'll be able to organise that. It may need to be a pre-recorded show because I will be 35,000 feet in the air on my way to San Jose.
To the CrossFit Games.
Hopefully. All right. Good night.
See you guys. End stream.